Hey guys, I wanted to give a video today of how I pop up my pop-up camper. Now, everybody's a little bit different, but I found certain ways, certain things have to be done in a certain period of time or things get messed up. So that being said, I'm just gonna go through step by step. If you have any comments or do things a better way, please share that with me as I'm sharing the way I set up with me today. The first thing I do is, see, that's my door right there. Okay, where that position is, maybe to your fire pit or to where your electrical box is or how far, wherever. It usually takes me about 10 minutes just to set the thing right. I've camped here before, so I know exactly where I want it. But I will go back and forth 10 times to make sure I get it perfect as to where I want to set up. All right, so the first thing is I've just unhitched it from the car. I guess you can all figure that out. First thing to do is to re-level this guy and bring him down because I had to raise it off. Let's go the other way. I had to raise it off the car to get it off, obviously. Then I kind of bring it down. I've almost got it marked on here where you can kind of see where it's somewhat level. And then, as you can see, it's somewhat level from front to back. I have a leveler and I have another one back here for the left and right. We'll get into that in just a minute, but the first thing to do is just get the front tongue settled down. None of the jacks are down, none of the slide out, and nothing's been done yet. This is the way it rolls. And let's go into the next. The first thing I do is I open up the front compartment, I open up the side, and I start pulling my things out. I kind of have everything sort of pretty much cased in there nicely. My level is always great to have. I've even got a magnet strip on one side. Oh, see, it almost looks pretty darn good just right off the bat. Obviously, there's a better place to level it, but as you can see, then I've got these guys. So I only chalk up, because I'm on a straight flat area, I only chalk up 2 tires just to have it not move a little bit. And then these guys are all gonna be for the jack stands, which are these guys down here. I got 4 of those. That goes up first. Getting it level before anything comes up is so important. It's just gonna make everything have less tension, especially when it comes to raising the roof and it comes to pulling the slide out. All right, let's get to it. This is your tool you do not want to lose. This guy does everything. Gets your jacks and it raises the roof. I'll show you that in a second. But just to give you an idea how easy this is, and these are really the best. Obviously, everybody has different types of jacks or stands or levelers, but this one seems to work really well for me because it does work well. Anyway, so I get it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tension on each 4 corners, just a little bit on each one, and then I'm going to check my level. I know this might be a little redundant, but I've gone ahead and leveled each one off and checked it with my level that I have, which I think is pretty darn crucial here. Even though the roof is not level, but still you get close enough, and it is on grass, so it will settle as you move around and move about. But you want to start off with a good base for that roof to raise. Now, say if I was on a hill or something, these guys will not raise you very much. They will give out. I've bent one before, so I purchased this. It's my newest addition. So if I need to raise a corner, I can do it with the scissor jack, and then I can use that to support it. I feel safe doing that. Or sometimes I've even left that underneath, depending on. Now, if you take a look, I've got these guys down here holding the wheel, right? Now, as it goes up, or should I say, I'll tap them in with a rubber hammer, but you gotta make sure you wanna pull these out first as it goes down, or else it'll get really trapped inside that tire. Anyway, I know that's a lot about just getting it level, and so I highly recommend the leveler and the extra scissor jack. So let's get it going. Coleman 2000 Niagara. Every one you do is going to be a little bit different. All 4 corners you want to unhitch, and after leveling, this is your next step. Those 2 down, I've already done the other 2. And if you come back here, this is where this guy goes in. Now, let me show you something. See this little mark right here? That's how far it needs to go in. Sometimes it feels like it goes halfway. This can be a little stiff. This is 25 years old, but this is how it's done. And I don't like to use the electric jacks because I feel like it puts too much tension and stress. And even like I was jacking up the jacks the other day, and man, I felt like I was twisted this guy a little bit. Anyway, not for the faint of heart. Let me get this in and get... Okay, well, I had to get out the hammer and kind of tighten up the ends there because I was trying to overexert one of my jacks last time when I raised it up. And so there's always something to be worked on. But I got it in. As you see here, it goes all the way to a certain point. This is very important or it slips. So you'll start cranking on it and then all of a sudden you'll slip out. But this is it. I'll raise it up all the way up until it stops clicking. It'll go like that. Okay, it stopped clicking. It's all the way up. This is how it looks. And what I'll do is I'll end up sliding out the back bed because the front I still want to be able to access my stuff to get out of things out of. But there she is so far. So what I want to do is pull this first bed out, and there should be nothing in its way. As you see, need a little cleanup maybe. This is how it looks when it's closed. See, these guys rest on top, so that's how much clearance. It might actually push down a little bit, but as you can see, there's a little indentation here in the bed, but that's kind of it. I leave my sheets on it so I can clean them. Door stays up there, and I'm gonna pull out all my stuff. It's the first thing to do. So I've got it pretty well loaded. The most amount of weight I have is right here. When I'm traveling long distance, I put that in the car. Anyway, let's get it. All right, so with everything out of the obstructive way, if it stops for any reason, stop what you're doing. Get out. Make sure this isn't clogged into it. Make sure that's not getting hung up. It should go nice and easy. Any resistance and stop, because that's what is so important about this video, is that everything is done to a certain way, because it is, you can rip this top. And as you know, these are like $1,200 for these guys. And this one has been replaced. So that's all the way out. I felt it pull, right? Then down here, you've got two support arms. Here goes into here. Now I use my back to push up on the bed and put it in there. A little bit labor intensive. I leave that guy in there because that's where I know I don't lose him, because I don't need him again. Come over the other side, pops out, goes inside that, push up, and rest it right on there. This is guaranteed to hold a bunch of weight, and guess what it does? I am gonna get the other supports. I've had them before and put them up underneath here, but with this guy, I haven't really needed to. Now, something to note, sorry, I'm breathing a bit heavy today, but it's kind of hot. Anyway, if you get a pop-up camper and this isn't tight, see that? It moves up and down, but it doesn't go side to side. That's a good sign of a good track. You know, I don't grease it, I don't oil it. I haven't had to, but knowing that it doesn't move from side to side like that, you know that they're not worn out. And I've had some that are worn out and it does not sleep well. Okay, cool, so far so good. I'm gonna wait on the other side as I pull all this stuff out, and I'll show you putting up the sink. Okay guys, as of right now, I wanna set up the power. Reason is I bought groceries and I want them to go in the mini fridge, which runs off electric. So I wanna get my electric going first and get that fridge cooled down. I really like having the electric one. This guy comes out here. Now this guy right here in my hand goes from 30 amp to 220. I keep this in my glove box. This is one of those pieces, if I didn't have, I don't know, I'd be kind of screwed. And I should probably buy another one, just to have two. Anyway, I'm gonna extend this out, put this on the end of this guy right here, and plug this in. And with this, I've been able to run heaters, all my electric stuff with just this guy. You can kind of figure out how that goes. I can't do it with one hand, but something I do, if I'm staying long term, I'll electrical tape all those pieces together, but I like to keep it off the ground in case it rains, gets flooded a bit, I'm off the ground. Now, I know it's touching metal, and that may not be the best idea, But if you got a better solution, hey guys, everyone's always asking, what are the essential things you need? Wow, there's so many. Where to start with, but I want to show you 2 items that I religiously live by. One is the mini vacuum, right? Other one is this blower. Man, that thing, it blows all the dust out, the dirt, blows off the top, any leaves. It does so much. People from other campsites come over to borrow it. Trust me on that one. This guy, on the other hand, well, it gets all the bugs that come in the camper because these things are not perfectly sealed. There's stuff like this. You just got little things. I mean, you can button it up pretty good, but they're gonna come in. For instance, I got a little friend right there. I'm gonna take care of him right now. Okay, since my power to the main power is plugged in to shore power, I can tell my mini fridge is already running, which is good. I wanna get that cold. I cleaned it out before I left. There is a nice little kill switch. That's for your 12 volt lights above here that don't turn on in case you leave them on. These guys can get really hot. If you leave it on and you close the camper, no bueno. But anyway, this is how this works. Just like that. And the sink is up in place. All right, let's go on and open up this guy, show you. There's a certain way I do things and it seems to work. From the outside, this is gonna take 2 hands, right? But from the outside, this guy is loose. He's not on the edge, right? Not on the edge, nice and loose. It helps for folding it away nicely, and it also helps it for raising up. So this bar's got to come up, okay? Now I'm going to use both hands. I'm going to get it up over this thing and pull it up over, and then put down the cover and slap it on the side. I'll show you what I mean. A little 2-hand finagling, but I got it into the groove where it needs to go, right there. And then you want to put this guy down here, right? Not before. Or this bar, they often break. I've got tape on mine on the inside, and if you use it from the inside and use the rod to push it in, man, you're putting so much stress on it, over time it will break. So this is the best. Next thing you want to do, come down below and fasten the whole thing in. So it starts with this guy, works here, buttons up like that, and does that all the way around, okay? Till you get to the very far end, which will look just like that. It has all the hooks. Some of these older campers, come on, keep in mind, it's 25 years old, and all the hooks are still there. Somebody maintained this thing super well. And if you don't have them, you want to get them, put them on, because all this is the only thing keeping you from falling out onto the ground. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah. Cool, that's in. This kind of fits in there. I'm gonna clean up the top today. As you see, that's how you do one side. Okay, haven't done the slide out, anything else yet. Let me show you the inside, how it's looking. Because as I mentioned, I keep the sheet on there so I can wash it and keep all my rods over here. This guy has a knob, which I have fixed on the end. So you gotta be careful. See, there's another bug for my vacuum. Can't wait. This guy goes into that hole up under there. You gotta make sure you don't poke out your tent. And these are already adjusted as to where they need to go. Push out, nice and tight fit, boom. And that's up. So as you notice, everything is closed up. So as I go to close up my camper, I zip up everything. I want it nice. I don't want anything to rip, because when these guys slide in and out, things happen. So keep it all tightened up. All right, let's go to the next. Okay, so we got this far, got one bed set up. I started all my storage stuff I put over here. All these cushions to the table all fit nice and neatly in there. I'll show you that when I do a close-up video. But I can't pull the slide out until the other bed is out. So that comes out here. Make sure I got everything I need out of here. If not, I can access, or I have things close enough to it that I can grab it if I need it, okay? Got my little hot water tank over here. Gas tanks there. Battery up front. We'll go through some of those systems in a little bit. And my thing to do every time, well, should I say this time, is clean up all of this roof and seal it with some stuff. Well, I'll do another video on that. But here we go. As you notice, all this is pushed in because it needs to be. So now we need to push it out. It just hangs out like that. And this is the track. You want your track clear. So this needs to come out in order for the slide out to come out. Cool. And like I said, no resistance. Okay, that didn't work. I'm gonna try pulling it because that seems to be the way I've always done it. Anyway, I thought I was just being cool. Okay, I'm getting some resistance. I'm gonna use both hands on this. Okay, and just was caught on the lip a little bit. Nothing, it just needed 2 hands. This is not for your grandmother, maybe your grandfather, but this is labor intensive. People don't realize this takes work. You hear me breathing? Because I'm working. So anyhow, this is going up. I'm gonna pull this guy out, repeat the same steps as I did on the other side. Everything's identical. Pull out, lock it in. I'll show you that in a second because this one's a little bit different. You know, get the top. Slide it all the way out. You see how it leans a little bit, which is fine, but you'll hear it. When you pull it, it'll go thug, thug. You feel the end. And it's, like I said, it shouldn't have any resistance, but sometimes, you know, you need to. You'll get to know what's good and what's bad, but you see how this stuff, it does get in there, you know? So, like I said, that's a cleanup job. And this all has to be out of the way for the slide out to come up. But underneath here, it's a little bit differently, okay? This guy comes out and he swings about and goes into that peg right there. Again, I'm gonna use my back, raise it up, land it, okay? Now, without any other supports, I've slept really good on this one. And that's because it doesn't shake side to side. It'll go up and down because I'm not locked in, but it doesn't shake side to side. That means these tracks are good. That's important when you're going to buy it. That was the first thing I checked on this camper. All right, using my back again, put it in. It wasn't much weight, but that guy's in. That is the sound of a good camper. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing, raising the bar, locking these in, and lock it in. Okay, I went ahead and pulled it out and tied up around the bottom. I haven't put the bar on the inside of it yet, but notice I put all my stuff over here. I love these huge mats, these 9x12s. They just make a nice area to land. I'll put that up in all my tables and chairs. And I keep my stuff in different storages for like cooking, and then for power and all other kinds of stuff like that in there. Then my cutlery. Anyway, okay, so check it out. We're already here. Now here, mine has a bit of storage area right there. I keep my ice maker, my hose. That should really keep something heavy up there so you have more tongue weight, but it is what it is. That's how I use it. So the next thing you know, we're gonna pull this slide out. Get this guy out. Yeah, watch how much room opens up. Anyway, she's already looking good. And then I'll show you the door after that. That goes last. So on this Coleman Niagara, does this, unlatches there. If you want to look down through there, you can actually see it, the latch. I do the same thing over here, and that I know is unlatching it. And then I've got 2 handles here. And what I like to do is get a little lift, use both hands, and bring it all the way out. So whatever track it's on isn't get too much weight on it, because I do have those bins full of stuff. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you. Lifting that up with 2 hands. I got it out nice and smooth. Keep in mind, this camper's old, but I want to show you underneath it. All right, see this little damage there? That's from not properly opening it up, or just wear and tear over time. So I make sure I get it nice and opened. And I've done a little bit of improvement on this wood here. That's a little wood rot there, but you can see underneath it, that's all it is. I've got some jacks that I put under there if I'm gonna stay long term. Anyway, let's get the top. I know this video might be a little long, but everything has to be done in its right steps, you know? 1 bed, 2 beds, the slide out. Like I said, I like to get my power going first. This, you gotta kind of use the bar to get it back, because it's really almost impossible to do from the outside, but I can kind of get it in place like that. So I'm not putting too much stress on that bar when I go to put my little jam here. And everything's pretty much set to the normal size. I've had a tree over here one time so close to me I couldn't open up all the way, so I got to adjust it. It actually worked out pretty good. Let's see, in the hole and decently tight, you know. And I'll go around the sides and do the same buttoning up for around there, as similar as I did to the beds. Cool. And then I've got my other bar over here, and I like to mark these things because you never know which side you're getting. This one says back. I don't know. It's the side I sleep on, but I just remembered it said back, and I am the third owner of this guy, so I didn't label that, but it works. Okay. And pow, there we go. We're in place. That's up. I'm gonna button up the outside, right? Just pretty simple. It's Velcro and a snap. I mean, it's really simple. I don't really necessarily need to show you that. I'll take the table, set it on the bed, get the stuff out, and put the cushions on. Pretty easy. Cool, I'll show you that in a second. This particular pop-up, this is sort of an after rig. I did that little plug, don't ask. But anyway, this has kind of got some tension on it here, so I don't put too much pressure on there. It's my storage stuff. But the only way the backs hold up really are that. It doesn't seem like it's enough support, but somehow with that rod there and the other rod, it seems to work out pretty good. I'm gonna put the cushions, lay them on. There's something about these that obviously the bottom are a little bit bigger, but see that knob? There's one on each side. That knob fits into this groove. That tells me it's facing forward. Same thing with this one. See how it's wedged, kind of gouged in a little bit? So those go on there, and the backs just kind of slide on to the back. Cushions are on. Remember I told you about the knobs that are down here on the bottom? You really got to kind of push them up and get them in tight to get this. And look, this is all that's supporting. Obviously I still need to close that, but that's it. And I thought I was going to build something to make that more sturdy, but you know what? I haven't needed to. It doesn't, you know, not doing anything crazy with it. So, and the table, which is pretty cool, it's got some Velcro here, and underneath these guys are some other Velcro, which it sticks to, and the table goes in upside down. So, actually right side up. That being said, you have storage underneath that I put tables and chairs and benches. Okay, the whole slide out table setup is done. I usually throw some blankets and stuff over it to make it look cool, some pillows in the corner, make it nice and cozy. I run power from this outlet over here back around. And so let's go to the next step, which is getting the door. Now, this door serves a few more purposes than just opening and closing. It's actually your support, because right now the only thing holding up this top is a cable. That cable snaps. I don't want to know what could happen. This is a lot of weight. Yeah, I've got some extra support rods I put in afterwards, but just so you know, this is the factory setting for support. So this thing pops out, door slides back. It's a little difficult to do with one hand. Undo the button. Yeah, one hand is a little difficult. It's a two-hand job. Okay, not the most graceful thing to do with one hand, but as you see, it's got tracks here. So these guys run on it, and the door grooves right down into there. And then it comes up here with the latches. So I'm gonna go ahead and use both hands. Then this kind of seals the door in right here on the Velcro. So let me go ahead and do that. And these guys just slide in, and these guys lock in place. So let me show you, let me do that for you. And got the door in. Now it kind of slides into place. You'll know if you got it or not because it won't even go in. Put the Velcro on here. These are my latches that hold it into place, right? This is just a guard. We put it back up. Anyway, as you'll notice, nothing's ever perfect. See that? I can't get it over there. Sometimes if the heat gets on at the right time of day, I can, but a lot of times I can't. I can seal up some of these holes, stuff like that. Some of this stuff can be Velcroed in a little better, but nothing's perfect. Even though if I put Velcro on here, you still got little gaps. Don't expect it to be perfect. It's not. Basically a glorified tent. Even over here, see, I put my own little after Velcro in, kind of comes out. I got gaps, you know? You could stuff little things in there if you're in a bug infested place. That's what the vacuum's for, really. Hit that before you go to sleep. I've also got a mosquito net that I can hang over one whole side when I stay in Florida, but I've never actually had to use it. But let's go to my jewel, the ice maker. Refrigerator's got my food in it already. Good, I shut my car off so it doesn't have to stay cold, and my ice maker's already going at it. This thing is worth its weight in gold. Okay, so let's go to that and then start getting some air in here. So that's the initial basic setup right now. We're kind of in place. Let some of the windows down, let some air flow through, clean up the floors a little bit. And this is how the ladder stays up. I'm actually gonna be fixing the other one that's supposed to be on here this week. And that's kind of cool. So let me get the water and stuff going and let's get popping. Okay, so we've set up the power. We've set up all the tents. Slide out, everything's good. Let's set up the water. Okay, now we've got our water intake here. Just got a little plug, and we've got our drain. Got to open up the drain because this is going to come from the sink. This is to fill up our tank, which is underneath. I got about a 20-gallon tank. Could be 15, I'm not quite sure. I saw specs on both of them. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and connect this. I'm probably going to use 2 hands to connect this hose and get it in there. And then I've got a bucket that I use here to catch the water. It's that easy. So with a good snug fit, so you don't drip too much, and then you drain the pipe open. Let me get the bucket and let's get the power on. Okay, I got my water connected and I've definitely got to do some work on this because I am leaking a little bit right here, which is not good. I don't know what water pressure I'm getting. I need a water pressure regulator and filter on this system, but this is what I have going on right now. So I've got my fresh water tapped in. Definitely need to work on a better seal up here and my drain open. That's why I keep the bucket. You know, it's just different people do different things. Some people are okay with just letting it drip, but it's definitely not good touching the camper there. I did notice that I turned one of these knobs whenever I closed this up last and I had water coming out of here. So I had to run, grab the keys, get that thing open so I can, you know, do this, and I can run the air out of the lines, which is always good before firing up the water heater. But a little outdoor shower is very nice. And I see most of the air has kind of gotten out by now. Go ahead and turn it back off and make sure that guy is off before putting him away next time. I think I just put the hose in there and it turned the knob, so I was getting water gushing out of there. I checked on the inside, nothing was leaking. And like I said, I'm probably going to get that water system, get this much better this weekend. So it's another project. Anyway, we got water going on inside. We got water outside, as you can see. And I put out the mat. I always put my things in the same chronological order. Can't even speak. That way I always know where things go and where things go to be put away. So for me, it just helps eliminate a lot of time. And water, cold water, hot water. I haven't turned the hot water heater on yet. I'm gonna do it after I get back and show you the heater and stuff like that. We actually, once I use it as storage when I'm traveling, but I've got my own little bathroom and shower inside. Okay guys, that's it for right now. We'll get back to you. Okay, so for last thing to do is connect the battery. Now, I've had this battery maintainer, which whenever you pull up at your campsite, you can plug it in. And I've got it where it just kind of connects and connects. These two, this one particularly is not strong enough. I'm gonna get a better one. But in the meantime, I do have it connected here, and I'm gonna connect my positive to my positive, my negative to my negative. And what this is gonna do, this is gonna give me operations for the overhead lights, the pump with the water pump, and it's also gonna give me the heater doesn't work unless the battery's fully charged. That being said, when I'm at home base, I connect to him and give him another charge. Anyway, honestly, I think it could use a bigger battery, but it is what it is, and making this work. All right.